I want to get in the top 5 because we broke down players 6 through 10. I'll go through it. Our number 5 player was Dasan McCullough. I had him at 5. Robin had him at 5. Abby had him at 6. Sipple had him at 8. So we were all pretty close on McCullough. Deshawn Singleton was 4. I had him at 4. Robin had him at 7. Sipple had him at 7, and Abby at 5. Emmett Johnson, I was at a 2. Robin and Abby had him at a 3, and Sipple was at a 6. Dane Key, I had at 3, and then you guys all had him at 2. And then our consensus number 1 by all 4 was, no shock, quarterback Dylan Raiola. But let's kind of first start with the unknown of just Dasan McCullough, because obviously they're paying him a really hefty NIL deal to get him here. And clearly they have big plans, I think, for him in this defense.
Look at him. Just look at him. I mean, some of it, when you consider the totality of the McCullough picture, you just have this image in your head of McCullough walking through that door and being top 5 off the bus guy. Mm-hmm. It looks like he could start for UConn basketball, right? Am I wrong?
I thought you were going to say UConn football.
No,
I hope so.
No, UConn basketball. He's
an athlete.
He's really, really a freak athlete, and he's long arms, just long levers. I hope what happens on the field, if it equals the imagination, then he'll have a huge year.
Yeah, the potential with him, you could argue, is as high as maybe anybody on the roster. I mean, just with what his athleticism, his versatility. I mean, this was a former freshman All-American. So, he has that ability to him. And now the hope is that he's found his home as an edge rusher, not trying to do this Swiss Army knife type role where you don't really get to settle into anything, that is going to be the kind of springboard for him to take that next step. And we talked about how much emphasis John Butler and this defense are putting on improving the pass rush. There's Dasan McCullough is at the forefront of that discussion. If you get consistent pressure off the edge from one guy, it changes everything with your entire defense. So his value is through the roof, especially if he can live anywhere close to his potential.
And you know how geared up he'll be for that opener? He played his high school ball in Kansas City. His dad used to coach for the Chiefs.
Oh, God, you're right.
So he's a Kansas City guy, somewhat tied to Mosey as well. But there's a lot of those Kansas City guys like Mosey, Winery, McCullough. I mean, that's
a big game for those guys.
Like when they go into Arrowhead, for those kids, that's a huge deal in their life.
It is. One other thing about McCullough, Rob, I think what you're thinking about is, I thought one of the most memorable interviews of the spring was when McCullough said how excited he was to lock in, just he wanted to be close to the ball. That's what he said, close to the line of scrimmage, and that he's like you said, he kind of found a home. So let's see what that looks like.
And then at number 4, Deshawn Singleton, somebody that initially was going to go to the NFL, decided to come back. Last year was his first full, real healthy year, but he didn't get a full offseason. If you remember, he was kind of later coming off that injury that he suffered. So what will a fully trained, developed Deshawn Singleton look like as really an old man in this defense, a veteran?
Well, they need him to be like a 3rd, 4th round type pick. I mean, they do it. At some point, you have to start looking for guys on this team that are legit difference makers. And Singleton would fall under the category of, we need you. I mean, we need you to be a guy that shows up big in big games.
Just a sledgehammer on the back.
He had the most productive season of his career, 71 tackles, 2nd on the team. That was a career high for him. And then I think his selection as one of the media day representatives shows kind of what his role is on not just the defense, but as the team as a whole. I mean, he's one of the more respected guys in that locker room. And so if he can get continued production out of him and also bring everybody else along, he's the type of player that can be one of those difference makers just because of what he can do in coverage, but then also coming up in the box and, again, playing into that attacking mindset that John Butler wants.
He's a grown man. We talk about players at the college level. Some you talk about as kids. They're kids. They're when you meet Deshawn Singleton, he's a grown man. I mean, he's mature. That's the kind of guy you have to lean on.
And then I did on the number 2 and 3. We kind of were really close on this, but you guys went Dane Key 2. I went Emmett Johnson 2. And then you had Emmett Johnson 3. I had Dane Key 3. I guess your guys' thoughts on what gave Dane Key the edge over Emmett Johnson on your ballot.
Production. I mean, just pure production.
Proven career production.
Yeah, when you look at Dane Key, I think a lot of it just comes down to, this is what he did in the SEC. This is what he did in the best. Well, how I look at it as the best.
The best draft pick conference.
Yeah,
not the best conference in terms of national championship of the last 2 years and what we've seen on terms of top end teams, but the best NFL conference.
Yeah, so that's the separator for me.
I'm curious, Sipple, to get your thoughts on Emmett Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Sean had him second. Abby and I had him third. You had him sixth. I think that raised some eyebrows because when you look just from the outside looking in, like Emmett Johnson's role is massive because they don't have anybody else perceivedly behind him in that running back room. Why 6? Why not higher for Nebraska's clear number 1?
Well, I think he's got a lot to prove. I mean, he has 1 touchdown last year. I mean, 900 some total yards is good, but it's not at all eye popping. I mean, I feel like Emmett's got a lot. He's a good back. He's a fine back, but I mean, you got to go to another level now, and he hasn't done it. I hope he does, and I'd love for him to sort of, I guess, in a sense, prove me wrong, because I'd like to see that kind of running back at Nebraska. But I haven't seen that from Emmett Johnson. I haven't seen the anything close to an Amir or a Roy Halou or Rex Burkhead. I haven't seen that from him.
I think the hope is that what he did over those final 4 games with Dana Holgerson, like his volume went through the roof.
He looked pretty good,
and especially as a receiver out of the backfield. Like he only had 1 rushing touchdown. He at least had a couple receiving touchdowns.
The key is, can this offense execute at a level to get defenses off balance?
Yes.
When you don't know what's coming and you're off balance,
100.
That's when Emmett is great. But when it's an obvious run and it's going to Emmett, defenses are going to scheme for that. And I will say this about Emmett: has there ever been a back that has not even been a 600-yard back that's gotten this much attention? And
there hasn't been a 600-yard back.
I mean, with one rushing touchdown last year,
right.
But a lot of it is the situation. Like, I think where everyone's projecting.
And a lot of it is just how he ended that season. When Dana took over, Emmett Johnson's role went through the roof. And I think the hope is, or at least the assumption is, that will carry over and maybe even go do a couple ticks up.
39 catches last year.
Yeah.
Oh, he had some moments.
41 targets, 39 catches.
And overall volume.
So you understand his ability inside like a phone booth to make people miss is really good. He's an explosive jump cutter. He's tougher than hell. He's really tough, and I love. And we step there in the press box. I say that all the time. Emmett is tough. He'll bring it. He'll bring it every play, and I love that about him. You just want to see some elite.